Okay, let's dive into this. So, welcome to our Leadist Explainer. Today, we're breaking down this incredible concept from cognitive psychologist Finn Madlock called the art of focus. Now, tell me, how many times has this exact scenario happened to you? You finally sit down at your desk, right? You fully intend to tackle that huge project. You get yourself all ready, and then you just quickly pick up your phone. And suddenly, boom, 10, maybe 20 minutes have completely vanished into thin air. You've just been mindlessly scrolling, and your important work, yeah, it hasn't even been touched. Look, if you feel like your ability to concentrate has just completely evaporated lately, I really want to validate that struggle for you right now. It is incredibly common. But as we're going to see today, you absolutely have the power to take the reins back and turn your focus into an absolute superpower. Now, I want you to consider the stark reality of where our collective attention spans currently sit. Get this, a goldfish actually clocks in at about 9 seconds. Us humans? Well, we're currently lagging behind at a mere 8 seconds. 8! But here's the absolute critical thing you need to understand about this. Losing your focus is not an accident, and it certainly isn't some personal moral failing on your part. It's actually a deliberate trap. Think about it. The social media apps, the endless scrolling interfaces, the streaming platforms, they're all meticulously designed by engineers and psychologists whose literal job is to hijack your attention. They know exactly how to addict your brain. So we've quite literally fallen into a brilliantly engineered trap. And, this perfectly illustrates exactly what that hijacked state feels like inside our own heads. I mean, between the WhatsApp messages pinging, the Instagram reels, the constant flood of emails, YouTube notifications, and just the general demands of your daily life, your brain is essentially functioning like a web browser with 50 open tabs, and absolutely none of them are loading properly. Everything's frozen, it's lagging, and it's just incredibly overwhelming. This cognitive overload is exactly the problem phase we all find ourselves stuck in. But good news, there really is a way to hit the refresh button and clear out all those frozen tabs. So that brings us to a massive mindset shift. Madlock's core thesis in The Art of Focus is that focus is actually not some genetic talent you're either born with or without. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a skill. It's a muscle that you actively build in the gym of your mind. If you're consistent and you practice, that focus muscle gets so ridiculously strong that no modern distraction can defeat it. Just imagine for a second if you could work for just 1 hour in a state of absolute unbreakable focus. No phone checking, no tab switching. You could honestly probably complete what normally takes an entire week of distracted, fragmented work. And that is the exact superpower we're going to train today. To kick off our practical training, though, we have to start with a really fundamental question. Where exactly is your attention leaking? Madlock compares our daily attention to a water tank with a leaking pipe. I mean, you wouldn't just keep trying to fill the tank while totally ignoring the leak, right? Of course not. First, you have to patch the hole. So where's your leak? Is it endless scrolling? Is it useless office gossip? Or maybe binge watching shows you don't even really like? Here is your first practical challenge. For the next 3 days, just track your time. Write down exactly what you're doing every single hour. You're going to be absolutely astounded to see exactly where your focus is spilling out. Because as we know, awareness is the absolute first mandatory step to fixing that pipe. Now, once you actually spot those leaks, you might be super tempted to try and fix them all instantly. But whatever you do, do not go cold turkey. Deleting all your apps and swearing off screens for good, yeah, that usually just leads to a massive relapse about 3 days later, simply because sudden extreme changes really shock the brain. Instead, what we're aiming for is a steady, manageable 15% reduction. Use a screen tracking app on your phone and just aim to reduce your screen time by 15% each week. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And because of the way this compounds, a 15% weekly reduction actually leads to a massive 70% drop in screen time over just 3 months. And the best part? Your brain adapts naturally without all those overwhelming cravings. Okay, next up, we really need to talk about your physical environment. Because a cluttered room absolutely guarantees a cluttered mind. Enter the Japanese concept of Kanso. Kanso is all about the practice of profound simplicity. Think about it. When your workspace is just covered in old coffee cups, random papers, and your smartphone is just sitting right there blinking at you, your brain is constantly subconsciously processing all that visual noise. So apply Kanso today. Keep only the absolutely essential items you need for the task at hand on your desk. And even more importantly, physically move your phone into another room. I know, it's going to feel super awkward for the first 10 minutes, but then you'll slip right into a deep, productive flow state. Now, just like physical athletes have to train their bodies, mental athletes have to train their cognitive endurance. You wouldn't expect to just run a full marathon on day one. right? And you can't expect to focus for 4 hours straight on day one either. Instead, we use a progression that's based on the really famous Pomodoro Technique. You start by working for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. And hey, if 25 is too hard right now, start at 15. That's totally fine. The key here is to just increase your work time by a tiny 5 minutes every single week. By doing this, within 3 months, you're going to have trained your mental stamina to endure up to 2 full hours of uninterrupted, pristine focus. How amazing is that? But wait, what you do during those breaks is absolutely critical. We really have to highlight the crucial difference here between a true mindful pause and a distraction break. Your brain isn't a machine, okay? It needs to be properly reset to prevent burnout. But if you spend your 5-minute break just furiously scrolling through reels or checking stressful work messages, you're just feeding your brain even more exhausting data. A true mindful pause means physically stepping out onto a balcony, taking a deep breath, grabbing a glass of water, or simply just looking out the window for a minute. Resetting the brain this way, rather than constantly bombarding it, has actually been shown to boost subsequent productivity by up to 40%. So let's take your brain to the gym right now with a single tasking challenge. Here are the rules, and they're pretty simple. Pick one specific task, set a timer for 30 minutes, and absolutely zero multitasking is allowed. Now, when you first try this, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to feel like torture. Your brain is going to practically scream at you to check just one little notification. Your hands might even physically twitch toward where your phone usually sits. But hear me loud and clear on this. That exact urge, that friction, and your active resistance against it, that is exactly the moment the focus muscle grows. Every single time you resist the urge to switch tabs, you are getting mentally stronger. And hey, when you do successfully complete a focus session, you absolutely must celebrate it. Our brains run on a dopamine loop, which basically means behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. But here is the crucial warning. Never, ever reward focus with a distraction. If you just spend an hour in deep, amazing work, do not reward yourself with 2 hours of mindless scrolling on social media. That just ruins all the mental clarity you literally just built. Instead, you want to keep the reward balanced and healthy. A quick 10-minute reward like eating your favorite snack, listening to a really great song, or doing a quick stretch is exactly what your brain needs to code that focus session as a massive win. Let's see how this all builds into an almost automatic habit by using what Madlock calls focus anchors. Think of Pavlov's dogs, right? They learn to literally salivate just at the sound of a bell. Well, you can actually create the exact same automatic response for your own concentration. By pairing your deep work with very specific sensory cues, you're basically creating a shortcut for your brain. So whether that's playing a specific instrumental playlist, sitting in one particular chair that is exclusively used for work, or even lighting a specific scented candle, your brain will very quickly recognize these anchors, and it'll automatically drop you right into focus mode with almost zero effort. So the crucial point here is really the math behind this transformation. It might feel a little slow at first. You might not notice a massive difference in week 1 or even week 2, but just look at the math behind it. 37 times. This is the incredible science of the compound effect in action. If you implement these techniques and improve your focus by just 1% every single day, you're going to be 37 times better by the end of the year. It's kind of like watching a tree grow, right? You don't see the daily micro changes, but if you look back 6 months later, the growth is undeniably massive. Remember, your only real competition is who you were yesterday. So I want to issue a direct call to action to everyone watching this explainer right now. I want you to take the 1-hour single tasking challenge today. Put your phone on silent, actually move it to another room entirely, pick one vital task, and just give it your absolute everything for 60 straight minutes. And please remember, mastering this art isn't just about getting through your boring workload faster. Focus fundamentally improves your entire quality of life. Think about it. When you're fully present with your loved ones, your relationships deepen. When you actually focus on your meal, the food tastes so much better. When you listen to music without distraction, you hear every single note. Focus really is the foundation of a rich, vibrant life. We're going to wrap up our explainer today with this final, really provocative thought directly from the source material. Are you the captain directing your mind, or are you just drifting in the ocean of modern distraction? Right now, at this very moment, your attention is your single most valuable asset, and it is entirely up to you where you steer it. You have the tools, you have the neuroplasticity, and you absolutely have the capability to reclaim your brain's superpower. The choice is yours. So take the wheel, start your very first focus session today, and see just how incredible your mind can really be. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.